Okay, inshallah, everybody should be able to hear me. Let's go ahead. Wait a minute. I forgot to cut this off. Okay, inshallah, I should be streaming on all the social platforms, including Instagram and Mixcloud. For those of you who use Instagram, I should be there under lailanasheeba. And for those who use Mixcloud, Twitch, Trovo, LinkedIn, and all the others, you can look at me as Sunnahfollowers or lailanasheeba, any of them, any one of them. Okay, let's see. And also, I'm streaming on the Sunnahfollowers website. You can go to www.sunnahfollowers.net and click on live stream, and I should be streaming there as well. That's what takes me so long. But 13 minutes. Why come you don't see a page 326, Sister Sanaya? Okay, remember, guys, we're studying in book 1, volume 1 of Diluting Well Better, page 326 to 329. You should see it if you got the book. Everybody has the book? And we're using volume 1, which is the blue book. The blue book. Okay, the blue book, pages 326 to 329. And that's part 2 of volume 1 of the book Diluting Well Better. And this second part of this book serves as the introduction. It's an introduction to volume 2. Very well written. I am very, very impressed with how Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid put this together. He did an excellent job. Some of the English wording can be taken down a little bit because but because a lot of people, like I said, these 2 books, this whole trilogy of Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid's, it's just wonderful. It's the best that I have seen translated into English. Like I said, when I learned all this Akida stuff, wasn't no English books. Okay, I had learned directly from the scholars, and I had translators back in them days. Wasn't about technology. We only had a different type of technology. And that was hard and tedious with translators and all of that. I remember Sheikh Morsi. Oh, boys, that's how I got Sheikh Morsi, too. He was translated. Then he became my teacher when the other brothers had to leave off. But subhanAllah, now we got books. I've been using PowerPoints. The PowerPoints I used, were taken from my notes over, when I was studying from my teachers. But mashallah, that's why I say now we got good books I can give you guys. You don't have to depend on my PowerPoint now. You have the book. That's why I'm using this trilogy for my Akida classes. I'm using this trilogy of Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid's. And then for the Hadith classes, we always had the books, the Hadith books. But Sheikh Atlee did a good job taking, making these books with different topics. But yeah, so this is still volume 1. Oh, I don't know. What book she talking about? Anybody else is anybody in my Zoom room? This is my problem. I can't get no quiet.
Here.
Yes, right here.
Do the rest of y'all have that book? Oh, she said that she don't have it in her book.
Have the page number? It's there.
It's there. I don't know what book you reading, Sanaya. What book are you reading? Do you have volume 1 of Diluting Well Better? Because everybody else has it. Page 326. Everybody else has it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you must have the wrong book, Sanaya. These books that to buy the books, guys, you can only buy these books on Amazon. and you go to Amazon.com and type in diluting. I got it right there. This diluting Wala Wal Better by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. Volume 1 and Volume 2. We're still in Volume 1. We're completing Volume 1. I haven't gotten to Volume 2, and Volume 2 is over 500 pages. So Volume 2 is over 500 pages. We haven't gotten there yet. I've been advertising for you to buy it, so that way when we're done with this introduction to Volume 2, everybody should have a book. But the first book is Volume 1. So Brother Jack, you see the ticker? Do y'all see the ticker going across? Diluting Wala Wal Better, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Let me put that in my little ticker too. You want both volumes. And they $19 each book. Volume 1 and 2. Okay. There's the ticker. Diluting Wala Wal Better, Volume 1 and 2 by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, and it's at Amazon. And also, this is the second book you should buy, The Articles of Belief. And you can get that book by going to Atlee Online. That's by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee. Okay, those are the books that you guys need to be working on getting right now. We're going to start the Articles of Belief in 2 weeks, inshallah, by Muhammad S. Atlee. Yeah. Oh, what? I put the wrong button. I'm sorry. Here it is. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Y'all see it? Okay, so Sanaya, do you see? Yeah, I don't know why you don't have it in your book. I don't know what kind of book. What book you got? Is there? Everybody else has it. Page 326. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's a misprint. Is your book blue? I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't know. Something's wrong then. Okay, so anyway, those are the books you guys need to work on. I'm gonna keep this ticker going. These are the books you need to be working on now. Well, why come you don't have I don't know. I don't know what happened because everybody else got the pages. It's weird. That's weird. I've never heard anything like that. Oh man. Must be a problem with Amazon. I'm gonna keep this ticker here for y'all. Nobody else has that problem but her, huh? Okay. Hold on, let me put this ticker. I'm trying to make it the color. Okay, I'll keep it like that. I don't understand that. Yeah, and all the books are purchased at Amazon except for the Articles of Belief. And by the way, for those of you who live in the United Kingdom or Canada or Australia, for the book by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee, Articles of Belief, he has an ebook available for you guys. But that's only for the people. I don't know. It should be a page number. It says we're on page 326. It should say you should just be 326 because 326 it talks about excommunication. Today we're going to speak about how Islam teaches us to deal with who are the people to excommunicate. So it should say excommunicate. And page 326 should be the section excommunication. So I don't understand. I don't know what happened with your book. Okay, but anyway, let's get started. Yes, and by the way, guys, yeah, I do. As a sister's texting me about this. Yeah, hold on, let me do it. Yeah, sister, hold on. Let me tell you guys, the polygamites. We ain't going down the polygamite drama today. Better not be no polygamy stuff. I'm not in the mood for y'all sisters who can't get it together with all that fighting and stuff. Oh no, she's okay. She wants to know. Okay, all right. Thank God. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the class at 9 o'clock. That's what she's asking me. Yes, we have the heroines of Islam at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, and I'm doing a story of Ruman. Did y'all see the little video I put up today, yesterday, this morning? Ruman, radiallahu anha. She was the mother of Aisha. Remember, I told you guys when I did the story of Aisha, radiallahu anha, that I would do her mother's story. Yeah, well, that's going to be tonight. Let me put that in here too. Of the time, you want to know what time it? Okay, hold on. It takes us forever to get started, guys. Wait, let me answer. That's what happens when I'm streaming on all these, to a lot of these Muslim groups here. Hold on. Let me put it. Yeah, you're in a different. Oh, where do you live at? Oh, you're in South Africa. Okay, she lives in. Okay, I'm gonna put the time. My time is Eastern Standard. Let me put it in the ticker, and you can figure it out. Was welcome here from South Africa. MashaAllah. Where are you at in South Africa? MashaAllah, the Cape. That's where I wanted to visit. You know, let me tell you, I was invited several times to come there and do lectures for the sisters. And I had to turn them down. A couple of mosques there in the Cape where you are, they wanted me to come in for a conference just for women. But I don't have a mahram. And I told them there was no way I was going to fly from America to South Africa and stay to do that type of a long flight without a mahram, because I'm not married, and my brothers are all married, got their own problems and responsibilities. Plus, back then when they invited me, the one that would have taken me was living in Saudi Arabia. And so I had to turn them down. But there's a lot of people I heard that follow me in the Cape, where you are in South Africa. Oh, really? She said I'm pretty popular there. And she said that her mosque would like to bring me too. Well, if I ever get married, we can talk about it. We'll talk about it if I ever get married. Y'all know that means never. I don't have nobody. I'm not doing no flights like that by myself. I ain't crazy. No, I have to have a mahram, sister. And my brothers, they're too busy with their personal lives and their personal wives to take me anywhere. Yeah, so I don't think that's going to happen. And my grandsons are too young. I got 2 little grandkids, 2 grandsons left. One of them ain't here no more. But I got my 2 little grandsons. They're not old enough to be mahrams yet. Inshallah, when they get older, when they become teenagers, but they're too young. But it's nice to see that I got a lot of you here listening to me. Your husband would pay for me? Yeah, money ain't the issue. Yeah, well, yeah. If I were to come, that's all I would expect is you guys pay the ticket and pay my accommodations. Okay, but like I said, my problem is a mahram. I know a lot of these Muslims. Let me talk about that for a minute. This is one of the signs of the last hour. You know, these progressive Muslims, these feminists, I know you got Muslim women that like to travel around the world by themselves. And, you know, I don't care. That stuff's haram. You know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was clear. A woman can never travel anywhere and stay like that without a mahram, and it's for her protection. It's for my protection. I wouldn't feel comfortable especially in this day and age as a Muslim woman traveling anywhere with my hijab on, my jilbab on, with all this going on in the world. Can't you see them stopping me at security? When I went to Atlanta, I just went to Atlanta, Georgia a month ago. They made me walk through the thing. Oh, yeah. And I told them, I said, I'm the Muslim woman. So I know you're going to, even though I don't have no baggage or nothing, I know you're going to make me, go through. She said, it ain't about Islam. She said, because sister, guess what? My brother's Muslim. She said, but we got to do what we got to do. They made me walk through the thing, you know. So now what I look like traveling around the world without a mahram is for our protection. And that's something that you sisters have to understand. Allah makes the laws. Allah makes the rules for our protection. What if I got stopped and I'm held over? I'm scared by myself. The po-po. This ain't Medea. Hello? If Medea can't handle the po-po, how can this Muslim woman handle the po-po? SubhanAllah. And ain't no Judge Judy gonna save Layla. So this is why I'm saying, y'all, you sisters got to look at it for what it is. Allah makes these rules for our protection. Yeah. So that's why I have to turn down engagements like that, you know, because if I'm going to travel from here to Australia, from here to South Africa, I am not going nowhere in a foreign country. I might be on the fly list. Y'all know that. See, I used to work for the government. They got lists of people's names. Here in America, that Patriot Act, you know, your name is listed. My name is listed. I'm listed. Not as a terrorist, but they know Layla's got a website. She's a good speaker. Yeah, she's a retiree, but she still is a good big mouth. So we're going to monitor her. I mean, you know, that's just life. You know, why do I look like going into Australia or South Africa and I get stopped over because I'm on somebody's fly list? No fly list. I ain't talking about the fly girl list, the no fly list. Yeah, so that's why. How old does the mahram have to be? Old enough where he can take care of business, common sense. I'm not going to take no 7-year-old kid with me as a mahram. My grandson, how old is my grandson, Latifah? How old is the little boy that my mother spoils? I don't even know the old. They kids. You know, I think he's 12. I think my little grandson is 12 years old, but what he gonna do? If the police pull me over, what is my 12-year-old grandson gonna do? He's gonna cry for his mother, Mommy. He's not gonna know to think, to get on the phone, call Uncle Issa. Call Mukhtar, call the mosque, tell the mosque Layla's been on the no-fly list. He's 12, he ain't gonna think to do that. You know, so whoever you take as a mahram, it's gotta be somebody old enough to take care of the business, to think on their toes. What if they put me in a holding cell? What my 12-year-old grandson gonna do? He can't pay no bail. What if they say we need $1,000 to get your old lady grandmother out because she broke her knee? What he gonna do? He gonna cry, Mommy, Mommy. He ain't gonna be able to reach in his pocket and pull out no credit card and put it on the credit card, $1,000 on the credit card. So whoever your mahram is, sisters, it's got to be somebody that's old enough to function and think that can help you. It's our protection. It's Allah makes the rules for our protection as women. When I'm breaking down crying, what my little 12-year-old grandson gonna do except cry with me? He ain't gonna hold me and say, I got you, Grandma. Even if I play the, you know how we do, oh, I'm just an old lady. He can't help. What he gonna say, Grandma? I mean, come on. Common sense, sisters. Yeah, so we know that's why, you know, but we see these Muslim women don't care about Allah. They don't care about Allah's laws. They flying all over the world, getting hijacked. You hear about it in the news. What was you doing in Iran? That one American Muslim woman that went to Iran and she got put in jail. I'm sorry, I didn't have no sympathy for her. Y'all remember that when that was in the news a couple of years ago? Some American Muslim flew her behind to Iran without a mahram. And whatever happened, they threw her butt in jail because ain't no freedom of speech over there. These other countries don't have the freedoms that America have. You go to a country like Iran that is strict on women's issues, and you tell them, you can't make me wear a hijab, they gonna grab you by your throat and throw your behind in the brigs. And that's what happened to her. And I'm sorry, guys, I didn't have no sympathy for her because the first thing I said was, what the heck was she doing traveling into Iran without a mahram? Where was her mahram? I didn't feel sorry for her. And she tried to do all that American honey child stuff. Them countries don't allow no honey child stuff. I didn't have no sympathy for her like the rest of y'all did. And then everybody shaving their heads bald. Look what she created, all that haram stuff. It's haram for a woman to shave her head bald. I didn't have no sympathy for none of that ignorance. I said, see, whenever we transgress the limits of Allah, Allah says, he promises us that there will be retribution. So while you other Muslims was walking around with the flags of Tehran or whatever, I don't know, y'all good on flags, whatever, and the flag of a bald man. That's what y'all was walking around with. Muslims was walking around waving flags of a bald head woman. While they doing that, I sat here saying, This is what happens when we don't have a mahram. Because your mahram would have told you, shut your mouth up. You can't go to a country like that talking crap. That ain't America. Just like when I made Hajj. You don't make Hajj without a mahram. Y'all know Hajj was the worst experience I ever encountered. The greatest jihad. For real. Layla got a mouth. When I went to make Hajj, the man I was married to took me to see the Prophet's mosque, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he wanted me to see this, the same picture I had on my website. When I went into the mosque, I went to make 2 rakats. Some dude came and kicked me. Layla. I turned around and said, what the heck? I raised my hand and my husband put it down. And he said, this is not America. First of all, you don't fight in the harem. Secondly, they treat women bad. The reason why he trying to hit you is because he don't want you praying in the mosque with the men. He said, so control yourself. He said, or they will have you in the brigs. And then the man came at me to hit me again, and then my husband had to put himself on my body. The man covered me with his body, and he took the blow. And that's when I said, Lord, that's why you don't travel without a mahram, sisters. Your husband is your protector. I could have been in the brig. And wouldn't nobody been shaving their head for Layla? I mean, come on. Y'all been like, good riddance. So again, we have to have a mahram. It's for our protection. Especially if you come from a Western country of freedom like America. America really ain't free, but we are able to do stuff as long as we don't go but so far. You go to them other countries around the world, they throwing your behind in the brig. And what you gonna do? Cry like she did? And did nobody come to her rescue? She got executed. All that mouth. That American mouth. All right. Y'all got that? Yeah. So that's why when you guys invite me overseas like that, I've been invited to Australia too. I just can't do it. I have to have, if I ever get married, that's the first thing I'll do. If I ever get married, that's one of the things I'll put in my marriage contract. You got to take me on my travels. Because I got some sisters in Australia that want me to come there so bad. I got some sisters in New Zealand that want me to come there and do some lectures for them. And now, alhamdulillah, some sisters in South Africa. Yeah, so not until I get married, guys, because my grandkids are not old enough. They're not even mature enough. Let me tell you something. My little grandkids, they can get hood on you. But my little grandkids would be in jail and executed too, because they'll get hood when they. No, I have to have a husband. Okay. Yeah, y'all understand that about the mahram? You understand too, Sister Sanaya? Yeah, he should be old enough where he can function, he can think, and he knows what to do if something happens, you know? So it depends on. Some kids are mature like that. A lot of them ain't. My grandkids ain't yet. Yeah, the sister said it makes sense here. Yeah, it does. It makes sense. Yeah. All right. So those are the books. Diluting Wala Better, Volume 1 and 2. Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. You get that at Amazon. The Articles of Belief by Muhammad S. Attlee. Get that at www.learnislam.online. And tonight we have my 9 o'clock class. Did I put it up there? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. She wants me to put the time. I thought I did. Why come it didn't show up? Oh, I didn't save it? Okay, hold on. Let me do it again, sister. Did I save it? Let's see now. Let's see if it does it now. Oh. Okay, it's Heroines. No, I didn't. Of Islam. This is the time in Central. So wherever you guys are in the world, there it is. Who is this? Okay, there. Did it show up? Diluting? Yeah. You can do your calculation. Eastern time. I'm Eastern. So whatever time that is in South Africa. Okay. And this is the yeah. You want to see the thing? Okay, hold on. She wants to see my little intro. Okay, hold on. When Allah sent his mercy to the world and sides were declared, she, along with her husband, chose the side of the truth. Beautiful, courageous, and excellent mother and strategic warrior. Join Sunnahfollowers Ustada Lailanasheeba as she details the story of Ruman, the mother of Aisha and wife of As-Siddiq. And by the way, that was all cohort. I used that video because I want y'all to see that's how the prophets' wives used to, and not the prophets, yeah, them too. That's how women always wore kohol on their eyes, man. Makeup is not haram. I keep telling y'all that. We got to be careful with this haram, haram, haram. You got to bring the nas to prove it. The unlawful is clear. There's nothing that mentions anything about makeup being haram. It's how you wear it. Because women always wore makeup, but you can tell a prostitute, just like today, we all wear makeup. But do I look like a prostitute? No. There's a difference. We don't go to the extremes. We don't go to the extremes in trying to attract attention. like a prostitute. A prostitute puts on a lot of makeup and she puts on perfume and everything else, whatever she can that's going to bring added attention to her so she can solicit and make her money. So makeup is not haram, but it's how you use it that may be haram. Just like television is not haram, it's what you watch on it that may be. Okay? So we have to not get it twisted as Muslims. You sisters are supposed to be of dignity. There's nothing in Islam that says a Muslim woman can't be attractive. All the Prophet's wives were beautiful, every single one. And there's numerous hadiths that talk about their beauty. Okay? And his daughters. But you have to watch yourself. Make sure that you're not prostituting. What's the oldest profession in the world? Prostitution. What did the women do even back in those days to earn money? If they weren't being sold as made prostitutes because they were slaves, how did they earn their money? They would put a tent up and take men and for money. Okay, and you knew the women that were prostituting because they would overdo it. They would go to the marketplace, stomp their feet to make sounds from their jewelry to gather attention. And they'd have extra stuff on. The belly dancers. The belly dancers were the prostitutes back then. That's why you sisters don't dress up like a belly dancer and put it on Facebook, because now you're prostituting yourself. Okay? You guys understand that? So makeup is not haram. Nobody said it was haram. Nobody on this planet. I have been waiting for over 60 years for one human being to bring me the clear verse that says makeup is haram, and ain't no man been able to produce it because it don't exist. Okay? But prostitution is. Okay? Making yourself up to look like one is, so you can to bring attention to yourself is. Everything we do, dignity and balance. When we dress, you want to dress with dignity. I look dignified and I'm balanced. Not too much of anything, everything balanced out. That's how we are. We're people of dignity and humility and balance. Y'all got it, sisters? All right. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. All right. So let's get started. Inna alhamdulillah wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Today we're going to continue our discussion of how we handle ourselves as Muslims within our communities. We're supposed to coexist based on love for each other, wanting for our brothers and sisters in faith what we want for ourselves. And we're also supposed to remind each other as to what Allah expects from us. But from time to time, guys, we're going to come upon some Muslims in our communities that have some extreme ideologies, some extreme ways of thinking, some extreme ways of challenging the leaders, the people of authority, and others. Well, guess what? Islam teaches us how to handle that. And that's what we're going to be speaking about today. So I put on the internet for everybody to begin with page 326 and read from 326 to 327. You can take your books out now because I'm getting ready to put my PowerPoint up and you can follow along. Let me switch my, yeah, okay. What you call that thing? Yeah, screen share. Okay, I'm going to switch my screen share to the PowerPoint. And by the way, let me take everything down. What I want you guys to do is screenshot. So that way, let me take everything down. What I have my students doing, and since you guys are all here, I consider you students too. What I want you to do, take this down too. Only thing I'm gonna keep up is the ticker, and I'm gonna take that down too. Hold on. I can take that down right here. It says hide. And I'm gonna make it big screen. Hold on, it's full screen. What I want you guys to do is take a screenshot. When I start lecturing, I'm gonna make this all one page. You won't see all this stuff on the side. When I put the PowerPoint up, I want y'all to screenshot it with your cell phone or your iPad or whatever you're using. So after the class, you can print it out, print the pages, everything that I taught out, and staple it together. And you have a little booklet that you can review with my notes and stuff, because you got the book that Sheikh Kareem Abu-Zaid wrote. And now my PowerPoints are the highlights. So my PowerPoint will serve as the highlight for the book, and you can attach it to each chapter. So when you go to review the book later, like maybe next year you want to go over to the book with your children, you will have my PowerPoint attached to each, you can, what you call it, clip it to each chapter so you know what to highlight when teaching it to your kids or whatnot. Because this is not a book that you can learn on your own, as you all know. So, and for the people on Zoom, what I'm going to do so you all can see, I'm going to share my screen for you to Instagram so I don't get confused. Okay? So let me make it all one screen. You guys see this? So for everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and LinkedIn, y'all can take a screenshot. This is the first page. And this is what we're going to be speaking about. Excommunication. Excommunication of another Muslim or group. Because as I was saying, sometimes within our communities, we may come upon a Muslim or a Muslim group, that keeps a lot of fitna going on. So how does Islam teach us to handle this? This is what Sheikh Kareem Abu-Zaid speaks about in this section, and I really love how he words it here, but I worded it a little better with some of it. So I want you guys to understand our example in how to handle ourselves in all situations. It's the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's nothing that we are encountering within our communities or our lives that the Prophet himself did not encounter. And during his time, the Muslims community witnessed the emergence of a group that still exists today, the Kharijites, also known as Khawarij. I call them Kharijites. You know me, sodomites, polygamites, Kharijites. Okay. This group emerged during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they displayed extremist tendencies in their interpretation of the concepts of allegiance and disassociation. And we hear them, they still exist today. A lot of these famous brothers that y'all listen to, on YouTube, they belong to this group. You can hear it. And one way that these people manifest their extremism when it comes to allegiance and disassociation is through the practice of excommunication. You hear them throwing this Arabic word called takfir. 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 What does this mean? They're calling everybody apostates, a kafir. What's their takfir today? Anybody who goes to Starbucks is a kafir. How many of you heard that? Brother Ahmad told me it's really being thrown around in his country. He's in Pakistan. They're making takfir. Anybody that goes to Starbucks or drinks a Starbucks, you are an apostate. Okay? They make takfir on each other all the time. You do something that they don't like, you're a kafir. They base it all solely on a person's outward actions because they think that Starbucks is owned by Israel, which it's not. And even if it was, so what? Okay? But because they think or believe that anything that's owned by a person that you're fighting against, you are supposed to boycott it and stay away from it. And if you don't, you're a kafir. They base it on your actions. Even though there's no verses from the Quran or Hadith to support it, this is what these brothers do. And by the way, this goes against the principles of the people of the Sunnah, who emphasize the importance of not just looking at a person's actions, like I teach you guys all the time. Just because a person doesn't pray, you can't call them a kafir, okay? You have to look at their intentions, their knowledge and all of that. A lot of people don't pray because they don't know that praying is an obligation. A lot of people don't pray because they don't know the importance of it. A lot of people don't pray because they're just lazy. Okay? But can we call them a kafir? We have the story from the hadith of a man named Hatib ibn Abu Balta. He was an early companion who migrated from Mecca with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He also participated in the Battle of Badr. He's a great example of this. Take a screenshot. I want all of you to take a screenshot of this page, because now I'm getting ready to flip it to the next ones, because I want y'all to print this stuff out, especially you young brothers, because y'all listen to too many of these brothers on YouTube making takfir, calling everybody a kafir. Okay? What happened with this companion was during the conquest of Mecca, this companion wrote a letter to the people of Mecca telling them that the prophet was about to attack them. Remember, we're going to get to that in the class that my cousin Mukhtar is teaching eventually. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right before he went to take back Mecca, this companion was the one that gave the information away to the Quraysh. He sent the letter to a woman from the Quraysh, hoping to be indebted to them. He was hoping that they would be so impressed that he informed them of this, that they would grant his family safety. Because remember, the Muslims were being persecuted. The Muslims were being persecuted in Mecca for being Muslim. And there was nothing that Hatib could do. So he said, I don't want them to kill my family. So maybe if I let them know what the prophet is planning to attack them, that they'll let my family go. But the word got back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when the Prophet heard what Hatib had done, he sent Ali, Azubair, and El-Miqdad to go and retrieve the letter. And they did. And when Hatib was brought before the Prophet and questioned as to what he did, of course, a lot of the Muslims wanted him to be killed. They said, kill him. He betrayed us. He's a kafir. He betrayed us. That's what the Kharijites, because the Kharijites were present then. They were demanding that he be killed because he's a kafir. Well, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't do that. Instead, he said, let me hear what he got to say. So Hatib explained to the Prophet, he said, I didn't betray you. He said, I believe la ilaha illallah. He said, and O Prophet of Allah, I love you. He said, but my family don't have no protectors. They're threatening to kill my family. So I had to think of something to save my family because they have no one in Mecca to protect them. So the only thing I could think to do was to let them know that you were planning an attack so that maybe they wouldn't kill my family. And when Hatib explained this to the Prophet, he accepted it. He accepted his explanation. He forgave him. And he told the people, this man, he had to do what he had to do to protect his family. There's always cause and effect. We got to remember this man fought with us. He fought with us during the battle of Badr. He said, I know this man loves me. I know this man loves Allah. But look, what would you do? Your family is about to be murdered. Okay? So here we can see, guys, the way of the companions. The correct approach is we don't go around calling people kafir without sitting down talking to them. We don't sit there and say that sister is a kafir because she don't pray. No, we got to sit down and talk with her. Maybe nobody taught her the virtues of praying. Maybe she doesn't know what a serious sin it is to not pray. Okay? Intentions are everything. Just like this man didn't do it to be facetious or because he hated the Allah or the Prophet. He was looking out for his family. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us the importance of verifying a person's knowledge and intention before excommunicating them. Y'all understand that? And this is something that the Kharijites don't do. They don't verify anything. They just, you're an apostate, kill you, and that's the end of it. These are terrorists. Kharijites are terrorists, man. Okay? So we don't base it on the actions alone. We have to look at the person's inward beliefs and all of that too. Cause and effect. That's why I tell you guys as my students, never use the word kafir and never use the word haram. Two words that you should never use unless you got clear proof. It's kafir and haram. If you say something is haram and it's not, you're lying on Allah. Okay? If you call a person a kafir and they're not, it's going to come back on you or your children or your grandkids. We have to look at the big picture, the whole picture, not just the small part. So as Muslims, before we excommunicate, and what's the difference? There's a difference between excommunicating a person and boycotting a person. Let me talk about that for a minute. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would boycott a person if the person was doing a sin that he shouldn't be doing. For example, you keep getting drunk over and over again, so we're going to boycott you until you stop drinking. Or he would boycott his family members. If there was a kid in the family that would tell lies, he would tell everybody, don't talk to him, don't talk to her until they admit what they've done. That's boycotting. Excommunicating is not the same. Excommunicate means to cut a person off completely. And we only cut a person off completely if that person is an apostate. Y'all understand? The only time we cut another Muslim off completely is if that person apostates, denounces Islam, denounces la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Do you guys understand? Okay. So we have to understand that there are consequences for those people who don't follow the procedure that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in effect about excommunication. Because remember, he said the believer never cuts himself off of another believer. We don't hold grudges. We cannot forsake each other. Allah does not even allow into paradise anyone who held a grudge against his brother in Islam. So there's a lot of consequences for ignoring the procedures that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in effect about excommunication. Does everybody understand that? That's why I keep telling y'all better be careful. Y'all on the internet listening to these famous brothers. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these men are in the United Kingdom. This is the problem I have with the dawah in the UK. Islam may be strong in the UK, but also the Kharijites and extremists are strong there too. They'll make takfir and call you a kafir in a heartbeat. So y'all be careful listening to those young brothers who are very popular and got their own TV shows. A lot of them are telling you what you want to hear to keep their ratings up and their subscriptions up to make their money, because these brothers ain't working no jobs. They get paid for their YouTube celebrityship. Y'all be careful. Anytime you listen to a person that's calling somebody a kafir, another Muslim a kafir, that should tell you to leave that person alone. Okay? So, in Islam, one of the manifestations of extremism is the invalid excommunication of a specific person or group without adhering to the procedures that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in effect. Okay? And the formality of excommunicating a specific person or group, it involves, first of all, establishing proof against them. You got to have proof that this person actually exhibited the behavior of the kafir. And that proof is established through two main conditions. Number one, affirmation of the completion of the conditions, which includes the acquisition of correct knowledge and the corroboration of the intention. This is the only problem I have with Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. And if you listen to Sheikh, this is the only problem I have with his books. He needs to take his words down simpler, because a lot of people will read that and don't understand. They don't know what affirmation means. That's too big of a word. They don't understand what acquisition means. That's too big of a word. They don't understand what corroboration. Affirmation means to prove. that the person had the correct knowledge, that the person had he intentionally said it, or he intentionally did it. That's clear English. Okay? A lot of people, like I said, maybe that brother doesn't pray because he doesn't know the virtues of praying. He doesn't know how important, like my cousin Mukhtar was talking about the other day. A lot of Muslims don't know how important the Asr prayer is. There's a lot of Muslims out there who miss the middle prayer. The Prophet said, guard the middle prayer. The middle prayer is Asr, the Asr prayer, because it comes in the middle of the day. So maybe that person hasn't had a teacher. Most Muslims don't have a teacher. Y'all know that. They haven't had a person to break it down in plain, simple English to explain to them that if I don't make my Asr prayer, it's like I haven't prayed at all, because Allah loves for us to remember him. So before you cast a person out and excommunicate them, you have to first of all secure the proof that this person knew what he was doing, that this person deliberately, intentionally did it knowing it was wrong, knowing it was haram. Because we're human, we make mistakes, we make bad choices. So that's the first condition. The second condition is the absence of any hindrances which cancel out the conditions of knowledge, such as I misinterpreted. How many people read the Quran and misinterpret the meaning? How many of you read a hadith? What's that famous hadith that a lot of American Muslims don't understand? Get married. If you marry, that's half the deen. A lot of Muslims interpret that to mean once I get married, Allah will send down from the sky half the knowledge of Islam. That is not what that hadith means. When the Prophet said marriage is half the deen, he's talking about it protects your private part. He said there are two main reasons why most Muslims will be in hell. Number one, sex. Number two, backbiting and gossip. If you get married, that's half of the problem. So you can now focus on your tongue. That's the true meaning. But the same way people misconstrue that meaning, they misconstrue so many other hadiths and verses of the Quran. So again, we have to make sure the person understood what he was doing, what he was saying, that it wasn't a misinterpretation or something that he just didn't know. So we don't sit there and make takfir on people. You can't sit here and say lailanasheeba is a kafir because she wears makeup. Maybe lailanasheeba knows something that you don't know. Maybe lailanasheeba knows a lot of stuff that you don't know. Okay? And if I am misguided, prove it. Prove me to be misguided, but I can tell you, you can't. Not on that issue. All right? Does everybody understand this? And make sure y'all screenshot this page. The importance of knowledge and intention can be seen in another example too. What's one of the major sins, guys? To burn yourself. Cremation. It is haram. I repeat, it is haram. I repeat, it is haram to be cremated. But we have the story that Allah speaks about in the Quran of the man who had his children burn his body after he died. Allah didn't just throw that man in hell. Allah forgave him. He forgave him because the man was ignorant. The man just didn't know. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us a man committed so many sins. When death came to him, he gathered his sons and he told his sons, when I die, burn me and scatter my ashes in the sea, because I've done so many sins that Allah will punish me. So when he died, his sons did what he asked, but Allah gathered his soul, and Allah asked him, what made you do that? And the man said, because I feared standing before you, Allah. I feared you, and I loved you, and I don't want you to punish me. So Allah forgave him. So this is the dalil. We don't just make takfir. We don't sit there and call Muslims kafir. We don't call Muslims kafir. We don't call them hypocrites. Hypocrite, and by the way, a hypocrite is a kafir. Never use the word hypocrite either. Never call a Muslim a hypocrite because you're calling him a kafir. And never call a person a kafir because you're cursing him. And if he ain't the kafir, you cursing yourself and your family. Okay? So this verse, which is also a story from the Quran, shows that intentions have to be considered, not the person's knowledge and all of that, before you make this type of ruling on him or her. Everybody understand that? So now let's put your understanding to the test. I got a quiz for you. Here we go. Wake up and smell the coffee and pay attention. First question. Who can tell us what is the difference between excommunicating a person and boycotting a person? What is the difference? What is the difference between excommunicating a person and boycotting a person? What's the difference? What's the difference, Muslims? Come on. Come on, people. Let's get on that mic. Don't make me mad today.
Boycotting is when a person is committing a sin until they stop doing the sin, is what we boycott them, to stop speaking to them until they start. And to excommunicate is to be completely a person that has apostated from the religion.
So what are you doing to them when you excommunicate them?
So we don't have nothing to do with them at all.
Yeah, excellent. She finally answered correct. See, Mina's been thinking about her words. Good. Don't be like your mother. Just say what you... Fresno! Fresno just say what she want to say. Hello, that's Fresno's daughter. That was beautiful.
That's my daughter.
That's right. That was beautiful. She did it just as good as Israel. Hello. Exactly. We boycott for a sin. We excommunicate or cut off if the person leaves Islam. Good job. What about this? Before excommunicating a person, what must we do? What must we do as a community? Say, for example, your community heard some or discovered some things about a person. Rather than excommunicate them, what must we do before doing that? What must the community do before excommunicating a person or kicking a person out of the community?
They need to find out if they knew what they were doing, if they was educated and did it on purpose or not.
Exactly. And the facts is, was it true? First, make sure the accusations are true. Remember what happened? We're going to talk about that tonight with the story of Ruman. Ruman, she was the mother of Aisha. When the community accused Aisha of adultery, that's grounds for excommunication. Okay. But did they just excommunicate her? No. You had to investigate first. Investigate to see if it's true. And then you sit down with the person. The person, Aisha had to come before her husband, the prophet. And he had her parents there too. We're going to talk about that today at 9 o'clock. And he asked her, did you do this? And if you did, repent to Allah. Okay? And he had to explain to her. So before we just excommunicate a person, we have to sit down with that person. First, investigate to see if what they say is true. Then sit down. Let's give another example. You want to excommunicate lailanasheeba because she wear makeup. First of all, is it a sin to wear makeup? You got to be able to prove that Layla's doing something that's wrong. Is it haram for her to wear makeup? You can't even get past that. So since you can't get past that, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. But if you could get past that, then you'd sit down with Layla and you'd say, Layla, Allah just sent down a verse, or we finally found a verse that says, thou shalt not wear makeup. Any woman that wears makeup is a kafir. It's got to be clear. Clear. It can't be a verse that says, Jack and Jill went up the hill, black crows flew in the sky, and then the earth fell. That means a woman can't wear makeup. It can't be that. It has to be women cannot wear makeup. Any woman that wears makeup is cursed by Allah. And then if I reject it, you can excommunicate me. Well, we're going to kick her on up out of here. She don't want to accept the truth. We're going to kick her on up out of here. So you have to follow the procedures, guys. You have to look at the person's, not just the person's actions of what they're doing that's wrong, but why? Do they know it's wrong? Or are they wrong? Because most of us can't get past the step number one. Is the person doing something wrong? Okay, good job. What about this? Abdul does not raise his hands before bowing when he prays, nor does he know much about the religion. Is he worthy of excommunication? Can we just excommunicate him? Why or why not? What do y'all think? Abdul does not raise his hands before bowing when he prays, nor does he know much about the deen. Is he worthy of excommunication? Is this reason to just throw him out? Excommunicate him?
No, you have to teach him.
Exactly.
He doesn't know.
Exactly, guys. We teach the people. We don't just sit there and call people kafirs and throw them out into the streets like these young brothers. Many of these young brothers are advocating this stuff on their YouTube channels. I listen to some of them young brothers and I'm like, boy, they need their behinds whooped. And they got a lot of followers who are agreeing with that crap. We have to educate the person, teach him the deen. Maybe he didn't know that the prophet raised his hands. Maybe he didn't know that seeking knowledge of the deen is an obligation. Teach him. And this brings us to the last question. Now, this one might be hard. Who can give us some reasons to excommunicate a person? What are some reasons, if proven guilty, that we can excommunicate a person? What are some things or actions that a person may do, and if they're proven guilty of it and they continue to indulge in it, brings about excommunication. This is a thicker question. Take everything you learn and come up with something that or a reason that I can excommunicate you if you're guilty of it. Anybody?
You know that fornication, not adultery, is haram, but you do it anyway. You say you don't care, so you just go ahead and do it because you don't care.
Wow, what y'all
So
think
you're
about
doing
her
it
answer?
intentionally, huh?
That's good. What y'all think about her answer? MashaAllah. Good job. That's an example. A person is fornicating in the community. This brother's a fornicator, or he's an adulterator. He knows it's haram. You don't sit down with him and talk to him about it, but he continues to do it. This is grounds for excommunication. We can just kick his butt on up out of here. Okay? We're going to let him go. You've been told. You know this is wrong. What's another example of an action that if a person indulges in, we can excommunicate? Now remember, I'm using the word excommunicate. I'm not using the word apostate. If the brother fornicates, can we call him an apostate?
No.
Right. And that's the other thing. The Kharijites, let me stress that. The Kharijites, they believe that if you commit a major sin, you are a kafir. That shows how extreme they are. So because this brother is fornicating, he's a kafir, and we can excommunicate him too. Okay? That's another thing about them. Them people are crazy. Who are they? That's your ISIS group. ISIS are the extreme Kharijite group. Okay, what's another example of an action that if I'm told that I know I ain't supposed to do, but I'm still doing it, that I can excommunicate you? What's another one?
Homosexuality.
Oh my, that's a good one. Homosexuality. Homosexuality, that's another one. What's another one? Anyone else? Oh, that's a good one. What's your name here? This is somebody from Trovo. Numbers. I don't have a name, just numbers. She said magic. Exactly. And I can tell she's Arabia because that's a big problem. Magic. Magic is a sin of disbelief. You know it's haram. You've been told it's a sin of disbelief. Not only can you be excommunicated, but can I refer to that person as a kafir too? Not me, but can the judge refer to that person as a kafir too in that case? What y'all think?
Yep.
Yes, that's a kafir. Because that's a sin of disbelief. Okay, adultery, fornication are not sins of disbelief unless you take it over your love for Allah. But magic, clear cut, that's a sin of disbelief. What's another one? Another reason that the community can excommunicate you. What about? Yeah, go ahead.
Those who try to introduce something that doesn't belong in this religion.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
Innovation.
Definitely. We kicking you up out of here. You ain't coming in here, this community, with that innovation. Can we call them kafir?
No, they might be uneducated.
Right. That's not a sin of disbelief like that. Yes, it's not a sin of disbelief. Good job. Malfeasance. Good job. What about stealing? This person in your community has been stealing your funds, your money. Is that grounds for excommunication?
Yes.
Yes. Can you call him a kafir?
No.
No, that's not a sin of disbelief either. Exactly. So I think you guys get it. So excommunication, this is something that we Muslims can do within our communities, but we have to follow the procedure that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in effect for us in doing. Y'all understand that? You can't just randomly kick people out and excommunicate them. It has to follow that procedure there. All right, inshallah, let's see what I had here on YouTube. I'm looking at you guys now. Okay. Let's see what else. We must examine their, exactly, Jamila. We have to check out what their knowledge. Good job, Jamila. Good job, Jamila, again. Openly speaking against or denying existence of Allah. Living with a woman that's not your wife. Exactly. Those are grounds of excommunication. You know it's haram, but you still doing that. Good job, Magic Santisa. Spreading lies and rumors. Exactly. You've been told to not go around gossiping, to not spread lies, but you continue to do it. I can excommunicate you. Can I call you a kafir? No, but we can excommunicate you. Lying on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam over and over and over again. Yes, that's grounds for excommunication too. We have to be careful, guys. So again, Allah sets this procedure, in effect for us. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us how to deal with that. Yeah, raping and stuff, since this is not an Islamic country. And this is what ticks me off. What about this? The imam of your community is very famous. He's known as a sheikh. He's been found guilty in the community of malfeasance, stealing the money, of misappropriating the funds, supporting organizations that he should not have supported. Is this grounds for excommunication?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And not only that, what else should be done? Because remember, certain situations require more, because we're all in different statuses. This is an imam. This is a sheikh. If he commits a sin, it's not the same as you committing it, because he's of a higher status. What else should be done? Should we just excommunicate him, or should it go even further?
We should excommunicate him, and we should also ask him to step down from being a scholar.
Yeah, he should step down from that position. This is something that the Muslims in America and the Muslims in the UK and the Muslims in the West are not doing. They do this in the Arabic countries. But you Western Muslims, y'all allow these people to hold those positions. He ends up going to another mosque, getting a job as an imam, stealing from them because you covered it up. We got to stop covering up stuff. You know, if you are of a position of authority and you commit a sin, it's not the same. That's why I have a serious problem with you guys, with a lot of these famous internet celebrities. They've been found guilty of stealing money. They've been found guilty of raping women. They've been found guilty of having sex out of wedlock. They've been found guilty of all kind of horrific things. And all you people do is excommunicate them and keep it undercover. No, it should be exposed publicly, because that person abused their position of authority. Even if the person is found guilty of innovation, that should be number one, man. Here this famous brother has been proven to have issues of Aqidah. Aqidah, that's your belief system. If you have proved that this person's belief system is messed up, he ain't qualified to be no leader over nobody. He's got to step down. The Prophet Muhammad and those companions, they would not allow a person to keep a position of authority if that person was proven to have been negligent with it. Everybody understand that. You American Muslims and United Kingdom Muslims need to stop that. Stop covering for these brothers. When Allah exposes them, he's exposing them for a reason, because they got too many people following them, listening to them, imitating them when these people are leading them astray. Y'all got to make them step down. I'm not just going to excommunicate you and kick you out the mosque. I'm going to write a letter to every masjid in the state of Ohio and every masjid everywhere. I'm going to send it to the Council of Imams. I'm going to send it to the Fatwa Committee. And I'm going to let everybody know that you've been found guilty. I'm going to give them transcripts of everything that occurred. And I'm going to say this brother should never hold a position of authority ever again, because that's what the prophet would have done. That's what the companions would have done. But you got to have the proof. So you got to send everything, the files, the court documents. I would send everything. The statements, proven statements, pictures, whatever. You got to prove it. Otherwise, you're hurting somebody's reputation. That's why nowadays everything's recorded. Okay? All right. Any questions about this? Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. At 9 o'clock, I'll do the story of Ruman, and we're going to talk about this, because this incident came up again during the time of the prophet with his wife Aisha. And we're going to talk about how Ruman, who was her mother, handled that stressful fitna. All right, so I'm going to close out for now. Inshallah, I'll see you guys back here in an hour and a half. People in the South Africa, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay? All right. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.